The New York Knicks and head coach Mike Brown just leaked their blockbuster trade plans in regards to multiple different NBA superstars who have found their names in a ton of trade discussions this offseason, while also multiple Knicks players have found themselves in trade discussions as well, with that second apron looming and the Knicks doing everything they can to win the NBA Finals, which has led to them being at the forefront of a lot of these trade talks. And now Mike Brown has spoken out on it and revealed where the Knicks are at, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. We're going to jump right into things as always. If you guys are part of that percentage that isn't subscribed, we have the latest and greatest Knicks updates every single day. You do not want to miss out on all that New York Knicks content that we're dropping every day. But let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over, as the Knicks recently hired Mike Brown to be the next head coach of the team. And Brown is viewed as a guy who's very fiery, has a bunch of connections in the NBA, practices his teams hard, and is also still very, very pro his own players, and is usually loved by most of the players who have played under him, specifically the stars. De'Aaron Fox was an anomaly there, but Mike Brown is someone who people in New York are going to love when he gets on the microphone. The man is hilarious. He's got a great energy to him, a great vibe, and, well, obviously he knows that he's under a new kind of spotlight. He's coaching the New York Knicks, and look, he's coached the Lakers before, so he understands sort of how this spotlight works. But in New York, the media is different when it comes to sports, and it's taken Mike Brown very little time to learn that. As with the Knicks being at the forefront of multiple trade discussions, whether it's for LeBron James, whether it's for Giannis Antetokounmpo, there has been a lot of discussion on if the Knicks are going to continue to go all in by trading for another star player for this team, which they would rather pair with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns instead of moving Karl-Anthony Towns for one of these star players, which has led to guys like Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby entering a bunch of trade discussions. Now, Brown was asked about this whole situation when it came to trades by a Knicks fan, and here's what went down. This Knicks fan mentioned, and here's a photo of him and Mike Brown together. He is wearing a Lakers hat there, but still, people, in fairness, I do own a Lakers hat. Not saying I wear it, but I do own it. I'm not going to pretend like I don't. But all that being said, when it comes down to it, Mike Brown and this fan had a fun interaction where he said, on my way from Cali, I bumped into New York Knicks head coach Mike Brown. And Mike Brown said, why do you have a Laker hat on? To which he said, you're right. Are we getting Giannis or Bron? And Mike Brown responded, I'm not trading my wings. So Mike Brown, off the rip, is defending his guys. He met this fan, was having a good vibe to him. You could tell they're clearly in LAX right there. And look, first of all, yeah, this Knicks fan has to take the Lakers hat off. There may or may not be a photo of me in that camo Lakers hat out there. And by out there, I mean in my camera roll. But that photo's not going to be shown to the world for multiple different reasons, so it's okay. However, when it comes down to it, what we're seeing is a situation where Mike Brown is already getting his players' backs, already saying, I'm not trading my wings. I love Mikal Bridges. I love OG Anunoby. That's part of this team that got to the conference finals. Brown does not seem too interested in trading away his guys, which is very interesting in this situation, as today's July 7th, which means this. As Knicks Feed, friend of the channel, mentioned yesterday, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Mitchell Robinson will now be extension eligible on July 7th, today, as Mikal is now eligible for a 4-year, $156 million extension. Karl-Anthony Towns is eligible for a 2-year, $150 million extension. And Mitchell Robinson is eligible for a 4-year, $89 million extension. Now, this does not mean this is the prices these guys are going to get if the Knicks and when the Knicks evidently extend these guys. Now, obviously, Towns has a couple of years left on his deal. Mikal's deal is expiring after this year, so he's probably the most pressing. And yes, Mitchell Robinson's deal is expiring after this, but I do believe the Knicks are more focused on Mikal than Mitchell Robinson, at least at this time. And I'm basing that a lot just off of Leon Rose brought one of these guys in, and the other he didn't, and Mitch is the one he didn't, so I think there is a little less focus on Mitchell Robinson here. However, it's also the Knicks. Mitch has a less clear price on him. His price is kind of more static right now. It depends on injuries, and they're not going to give him a 4-year, $89 million extension in really any situation, but especially not in one where they're not sure if he can even stay healthy, which is going to be a big sort of question. I don't expect the Knicks to extend Mitchell Robinson over this offseason. I think they would like to extend him if he could show that he could stay healthy because of how much of a positive impact he has. But that we're going to have to wait and see with just everything in mind. So when taking a look at all this, obviously Giannis and LeBron have both been the two biggest guys in trade talks. As I said, I didn't really plan on doing a third LeBron to the Knicks video, and I really personally think that with Giannis, he would like to end up on the Knicks, but Giannis is very loyal to the Bucks and only wants to request a trade if he sees zero pathway to them winning. Giannis played a big part in the Bucks signing Miles Turner, and I don't think that's going to be like some lock of, oh, Giannis is going to stick around here, because the Bucks still have a lot to really navigate with this whole situation, because at the end of the day, this team is still not very good that he has in Milwaukee. His second best player is Miles Turner, who I don't see as the second best player in a championship team at all. He's not an all-star. It's just, it does not feel like a guy who would be the second best player in a championship team. But there has been whispers about both guys in the trade market. As Ramona Shelburne mentioned, that her sense is just from the conversations around the league, she doesn't think anything will be decided on his end until August or September, because big deals or anything like that, whether he goes or stays, that kind of decision won't come until later in the summer once the roster is more constructed. And in the case of LeBron James, Sports Illustrated did mention from both Tim Bontemps and Brian Windhorst that there were a few inquiries from eyebrow-raised teams just to gauge whether this was something or nothing in regards to LeBron potentially being someone who's available for a trade. And as Brian Windhorst mentioned, for now, there is no action, but it is surely being monitored. Windhorst did say he shut and locked the door initially on LeBron stuff, but now he's unlocked that door, and though it's not necessarily open, there is more of a chance that James gets traded now compared to ever before. It's the first time LeBron has ever found himself on an expiring contract. LeBron does not have a clear timeline of how much longer he's going to be playing. He is entering year 23. He's going to turn 41 in the middle of this season on December 29th. So obviously at the end of the day, or December 30th, whenever his birthday is, but at the end of the day, LeBron's got, I'd say at most 3 years left in the NBA, and to expect him to play 3 more years where he'd go into years 23, 24, and 25, it's expecting something that no one's ever done before, but also no one's ever been putting up 25 points per game at 40 years old, and seems like he genuinely wants to still play. A lot of guys hit this point and just decide, you know what, I did it, man. I did it. I achieved all my goals. I just don't love it anymore. And most guys who are LeBron's age are dealing with nagging injuries throughout their lives. LeBron, knock on wood, which you can't see because it's my desk, because I'm not wishing injury on anyone, especially not LeBron. I've said on this show multiple times, I am a huge LeBron fan. He's not really been someone who's been injured. So there's always the chance that he'll stick around for longer than any of us expect. We all know LeBron's an egotistical guy who loves to be the center of attention, and I truly do believe that he wants to be able to play 25 seasons in the NBA to just show that he can do it, and in that entire span, just really create some separation between him and anyone else trying to break that points record. I imagine LeBron's going to try to hold on to that record as long as humanly possible, and the best way for him to do that is to keep playing while he still obviously is not the same guy he was 7, even 5 years ago, but he's still one of the better players, one of the best players in the NBA. He's still an NBA All-Star, and that's not going to change at this point. He's not going to fall off a cliff athletically from age 40 to 42 unless he deals with some very severe injury. So with him, it's going to come down to how much longer he wants to play, and does he actually want to win, and does he believe that a team with him and Luka Doncic with a core that's not very good, just lost Dorian Finney-Smith, and didn't really add much in free agency, can they actually win anything? Is it possible? Do they see it? Or would he want to be traded where the second apron Cleveland Cavaliers really can't make a move for him, which really only leaves the Knicks as the team to trade for him? Meanwhile, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the man loves New York. He has multiple businesses in New York. He would rather be in New York than anywhere else, and he probably doesn't want to play for the Nets because the Nets are terrible. So that leaves the Knicks. And I do think that both these guys, in their heads somewhere, it's like, if I were to be traded, the Knicks are the perfect situation because they're very close to winning the NBA Finals. They're the favorites right now in the Eastern Conference to go to the NBA Finals. They have the second best odds to win the NBA Finals outside of the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is such an awesome thing to say. It never gets old. But this team is very close to winning the NBA Finals. They're a true Finals contender. I could go to this team and replace Mikal Bridges, replace OG Anunoby. And then that becomes the question. How do you make the deal work? Because you got a guy like Mikal who puts up 17.5 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. His defense was as elite as ever in the playoffs, shooting 50% from the field on the season and 35% from three, with 42% on corner threes. He had a good season. Don't get me wrong. I know that he was up and down, but he did have a good year. The defense really locked in the playoffs, which was great to see. And OG had one of the best seasons, if not the best season, of his NBA career. Shot 37% from deep, 47% from the field, 38% on corner threes. Shot 18%, or 18 points per game, put up 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, getting a steal and a half and a block per game. OG was an elite defender. The fact that he wasn't on an all-defensive team is absolutely mind-boggling, and was truly having an awesome year. And now on a Mike Brown team, OG's touches will likely go up. So he's in store for another big year. He's about to turn 28 years old. He's in the prime of his career. And then it comes down to, with that big contract, he would likely be involved in some sort of trade unless you're pairing Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart together, potentially with Mitchell Robinson as well, depending on what's really going to go down when it comes down to like all the financial aspects. And are the Knicks getting another player back in the trade, or is it just for the one guy? Especially because what do teams want? There's also going to be that front. And then you look at a guy like LeBron, who put up 24.4 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. He's still LeBron James. He's still that guy. He got a steal per game. He made 51% from the field, shot 37% from 3. He was still great. He's still LeBron James. Don't get me wrong. He's not the same LeBron James of 15 years ago, but he's still LeBron James. And Giannis is at the peak of his career right now, putting up 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, blocking a shot per game, getting a steal per game, shooting 60% from the field. He's still that dude as well. The Knicks have an opportunity to trade for these guys, but it depends on, are you going to once again sort of hinder your bench because you traded for a star player? That's what this wholly comes down to. And also, do these guys want to be traded? LeBron has a no-trade clause, and the Bucks would not trade Giannis unless they absolutely have to, because Giannis is like, I'm done, dude. I'll play. I'm not going to hold out, but I'm done. I did everything I could. Y'all did nothing for me. Y'all were a terrible front office. Yeah, I screwed up the Dame thing, but still. Look, at the end of the day, Mike Brown seemingly does not want the Knicks roster to change. He likes this roster. He's going to go deep into the bench. The Knicks have a deep bench now, and the Knicks are set up very well to win the NBA Finals. The one team in their way, really the two teams I feel like are most in their way, are the Thunder and the Nuggets, and those two teams are going to take one of them out. So you only have to face one of them, and I do believe the Knicks could beat either of them in a 7-game series without LeBron or Giannis. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you were going to trade for one of them, who would you want and for what price? Obviously, Giannis is more expensive. This was a long video. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.